Matthew Oliver with Oliver's Updates, giving you information about Placer County and beyond. We are talking about big things. I know you get all of your good information about nationwide politics from great sources, but where do you go for Placer County politics and updates? Right here. And we're going to keep you guys informed. So make sure you do what you're supposed to do. Like, subscribe, follow, share, send it to a friend, and actually send it to someone you don't like. I'm sure they want to find me in their inbox. That would make them great. I am here with the infamous Amanda Cortez from Loomis City Council. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm wonderful, and we are town council. They are very particular. We are a township, not a city.
You are a
Township.
Oh,
We are
okay, I
town.
was confused there for a moment. Okay, and on this, do you guys meet for official business, or do we just go and take care of the sheep?
No, there's official business. There's. I don't know that we even have any sheep, sir.
There's no sheep in Loomis?
I'm sure there probably is somewhere, but you would find more horses, and I've even seen some alpacas and different things like that, but I don't know how many sheep. Goats, yes, but sheep, I don't know.
All right. But you guys do a festival every year.
Yes, we do.
The Eggplant Festival.
It is now the Fruit Shed Fest.
It used to be the
It used to be the Eggplant
So we
Festival
got rid of it.
before emojis. It was an eggplant festival. Actually, the funny historical little story behind that. Did I catch you off guard with that?
I love it. Every minute, the Fruit Shed. Okay.
Yeah. So the historical backstory on that was, the older. Well, they're the older guys now. They're part of I call the old guard. But the guys that have spent many, many years in their service to the town of Loomis. But at the time, all of the other great fruit and and vegetables had already been taken.
all
There
the
was a
great
strawberry.
fruits.
Yeah, there was a strawberry festival.
Tomato
Asparagus.
festival,
Yeah, there's all the
asparagus,
things.
garlic.
Yes,
gone.
all
You
of
have
the things.
Gilroy and Stockton in a war
See?
over the garlic
You-
festival.
You see what I'm
So
saying?
you guys had
Yeah.
eggplant, though. You
So-
had the chosen
Yes.
vegetable, and you
Yes.
gave it up.
Yes. So that there's actually been a lot of uproar about the
I
name
imagine
change.
there is.
The name change.
Do you still own the rights to eggplant? Can we have a conversation about this?
That's a good question. We should probably put that out for an RFP and figure
I'm
it out
telling you, we're making policy as we're speaking. We're
about eggplants.
because you back in the day, in the heyday with the men from Isengard, you guys did this eggplant festival, and you would taste like different eggplants, like an eggplant casserole, or would you say?
Well, interestingly enough, there was at least for the last several years that I have been involved in, the town and different things. But interestingly enough, there really wasn't anything eggplant.
No.
And that's why it was kind of this why are we doing that? But
So now you just do fruits.
well, so that's actually historically what Loomis was. What is now known as High Hand, and the Blue Goose. It was shed to shed, and the railroad tracks that go right behind it. That was they boxed fruit like during World War II, and there was this great history about it. So that's our historical
It's more
name to claim.
true to you.
The
than just
Fruit
the
Shed
eggplant.
Fest.
Even
Yeah,
though the eggplant, this is epic. I mean, it's a huge.
yeah,
This is a huge vegetable.
yeah.
It's
a huge vegetable.
this is monumental. You guys, you laid down the eggplant for a fruit
Yes.
shed.
Yes, we did.
Okay,
we
well.
did. We gave up the emoji.
Now we
for
know
the Fruit
all
Shed
all the
Fest.
amazing information I didn't know. Well, let's start by talking about all things California.
Okay.
Let's see. Did you know that the high-speed rail line, the high-speed train line, the Gavin Newsom, this high-speed rail line, it went from $3.2 billion just for the section from Bakersfield to Merced. So we're talking not an eggplant size distance.
Right.
The small bit went from 3.2 billion to $38 billion.
And not one track was laid.
Well, they haven't laid a track.
And they're not going to. I believe it's dead.
Is it dead? Do you think it's
Is it not?
Well, I know Kevin Kiley has been working for them to one, he wants an open investigation
Yes, I agree with that.
into these funds.
I think that there should be an investigation on many levels in California. Voter ID fraud and the ballot harvesting and all of
Which
those
is
things.
legal in our state.
It is, but it is led to such it's illegal voting and all the different things. I think dead people voting.
Yeah.
I think there should be an investigation of misappropriated funds for unemployment, disability, the COVID, all that things, the money that was given during COVID. There should be an investigation on the money that they spent on homelessness, because
Which they've refused. They've refused to do an audit
Right.
on the homeless monies.
Well, here's the thing.
Billions.
I think that and this high-speed rail and all they are slush funds to be sent back to the Democrat Party. It has been, I think it's along with climate change, right? They create problems or whatever that they only have the answer for, and it's a shakedown. It's a literal government shakedown, and we really need new leadership in California. And I would actually, I would argue that we are actually turning more red than people want to believe. Since I want to say, well, very recently, I don't know what the timeline is, but the very recent years, we have increased Republican voter registration by 1 million.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know everything I read. Placer County, we've had more registered Republican voters time and time again than Democrats. California has had recently more registered Republican voters than Democrats. That's the first time in a long time that's
people are sick of it.
And now we're nowhere near enough to fully shift it just with that. But I think people are sick of it. I don't care which side you're on. People are sick of it. And right now, huge thing is out there that there is a civil war coming to the Democratic Party. When you have got the vice chair of the Democratic Party, what's this? It's the Hog Kid from Florida.
I don't know.
Okay, he's the vice chair. He's young. He's in his 20s. And he is raising millions of dollars to get other Democrats out of office. And now they're trying to oust him from the Democratic Party because he's so popular, because people are fed up. And in their party, they're fed up. It's crazy.
Well, their messaging is just hate Trump. And, their message is anti-family, anti-marriage. It is,
Anti-life.
death. Yeah, it's death. It's, everything is bad. Everybody's a racist. And I don't believe that. And I think that the core of California or even the nation, we don't believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think that most people truly believe that. I mean, yes, are there bad people? Yes. Is there a part of our nation's history that is bad or, it's obvious, it's something that, we would definitely never want repeated. But if we don't remember history correctly and teach it, it's bound to be repeated.
Yeah.
And so I think that history, good or bad, it needs to be told. And it needs to be, So I just think
and there are people who are, they're trying to erase what they feel is bad history, bad things that have happened. And we have monuments and names of buildings and names of streets and names of sports teams and names of syrups. And they're just trying to get it all removed so no one's feelings are hurt. But
and then in that vein, they also want to redefine language. Or make up new language.
Yes.
And so I think that it's quite an interesting time we find ourselves in, but I think it's the best time because I think that there is a younger generation that is rising up. As a person of faith, I believe a remnant, right? I believe that we're on the verge of revival.
Yeah.
But I believe that the scales are being removed from people's eyes and they're starting to see things. They're catching a revelation.
Yep. Well, it's really interesting to see our governor backing away from policies that he established, enacted, and now he's distancing himself like this.
Like,
Why was
when
this?
this happened? Yeah.
When did we do this?
Yeah.
Why are boys and girls sports? I don't know.
Yes.
Why do all these illegal? Why are we $28 billion in deficit in helping Medicaid for illegal? Who did that?
He said that, but then when it came time to actually pull it was all a show. So, and that's kind of the thing. It's like he said, he agreed that boys and girls sports was unfair. But then he didn't do anything to protect female
You might not know, he
athletes.
just came out, I think it was just days ago, where he said, now, if a male wins and it knocks a female out of the competition, that female can still compete. So they can go to the next level of competition and then lose against the man. I don't know.
What difference does that make? It's a double humiliation. What does that even mean?
He's you know what he's trying to do is he's playing politics.
I would say he's placating. He's trying to. Yeah, I don't like that. That's ugly.
So let's talk about something a little closer to home that's happened.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome. Is this thing called Clover Valley Land Preserve?
Yeah.
I think this is a big deal for Placer County.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge. Well, let's see. What is it? It's 402 acres
Mm-hmm.
in Rocklin. It's located in Rocklin. And listen, the Rocklin City Council loves building. They love the builders. The builders fund them, support them. The builders own Rocklin City Council. But in this one instant, they got enough pressure and backlash where the community rose up, and it's really spearheaded by William Jessup University.
Yes, William Jessup University, Dr. Jackson.
Wow.
Yes, he's such an incredible man. So I went to the media day for the dedication of Clover Valley, and it really was a beautiful regional collaboration. The city of Rocklin gave a substantial amount of money. The city of Lincoln, Placer County Office of Education, Placer County I always forget their name, but it was a beautiful regional collaboration.
And
Historical people from historical societies. But what they've identified is that there are 3 different indigenous tribes that have identified, sacred burial grounds or areas that they had, done like work, different things. And so it's going to be an educational site. It is truly a beautiful piece of land, and it borders
acres. That's
and
massive.
it borders Loomis, and so it actually benefits us a great deal. So it'll be coming to our agenda pretty soon. It is my hope that our council will agree to give some money out of our tree mitigation fund to help the ongoing upkeep, because there'll need to be some like fire maintenance and different things like that. They're going to be thoughtfully designing an entry access point, where it will be as little evasive, try to leave as little of a footprint as we possibly can, but to open it up for K through, I think even maybe college, but for sure K through 12, and just give everybody an opportunity to get out in nature and to really
it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the sky's the limit on what they can do with that property as far as research, education, open it up, partnership with the community, animals, protected species, working with the college. I think it's really good. And it's one of those things, one of my frustrations that I get on the sidelines when I see it is the councils and the community not always working together in collaboration. This was one. Well done. Round of applause to everyone. They worked together. They played well in the sandpit, and here the community won and benefited. But I'll tell you, there's a group of community members that really fought for this. And John Jackson and William Jessup really fought for this.
Yes.
And
he did all the legwork. He really was the spearhead. And Jessup actually put up a substantial amount of money to get this project going forward. It is not in their business model now, nor will it be in the future. They don't want to be in charge of it.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the social media comments that I had heard or read myself, thinking that, it's a Christian university. Why should Loomis give any money? But they don't want to be in charge of it. They just wanted to help make sure it happened. And then they want other people to take over. So it's a beautiful collaboration. I was very excited to be there and to witness it and to see the property myself, right? Because I've only been able to see it from afar. I have a friend who lives up on a hill on Boulder Ridge, and so her house overlooks Clover Valley, and it's a beautiful, beautiful site. And yes, like you said, it preserves area where there
So
won't be
much.
building. Yep. Yeah.
So much. And, I think part of when I was watching the city council meeting when Rocklin was trying to decide, Rocklin, they take every little piece of land and even stuff that's been zoned for commercial and business and stuff. And we pop houses on everything. And
They are growing pretty fast. That's for sure.
they're going to stop growing pretty soon because we
run out of
built
land.
almost everything we can. They keep just rezoning things and popping another apartment complex. But it was wild to see even their conversation, like, hey, we need this property. And, having them have to go back and forth. And sure enough, it's people up for reelection who decided to vote to preserve the land. And that's what elections are for, to help keep them accountable. But anyway, I digress. Hey, I got a bone to pick with you.
With me,
Bone
okay.
to pick with you. Well, we're
Okay.
talking Loomis. Why'd you have to take our Costco? When you got to be so selfish like that?
Well, I will tell you that, who knows where the gas station might go, but I won't go in Loomis. So you
it's
still
not
may get a
going in
gas
Loomis.
station.
You're
No,
not doing.
we don't
the
have a gas station. No, well, we got sued, so we don't get that. We won't get that. At least not on that property.
Who would sue you?
Anyways, we won't discuss this. But to talk about the Costco though, I mean,
How
have
awesome
you
has it
been there?
Have I been there?
Well, I don't know.
It's my favorite one.
Okay, yes, mine too.
It's my
So
Costco.
We the traffic has been just incredible. People were really concerned with the traffic, but it is the easiest in and out Costco.
The parking makes so much
Yes,
sense.
There has not. I never get angry in the parking lot. It is so easy. It's a
I
beautiful,
will never
beautiful
go
building.
to the Roseville. Tracy, sorry, I will never go to the Roseville Costco again.
Yeah.
In fact, I drive past the Roseville Costco at times to just go to the Loomis one because I feel so loved. I feel warm.
Warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, like a
Yes.
blanket just on me.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible. And you know what? There's been like no that like very I don't even think
Right.
there's been anything like there's been no instances, no police reports. It has been an incredible draw, and I think people just all around the region have really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's the easiest in and out.
And you guys are going to enjoy those tax revenues coming into the city,
It
which
will
is going to
help
allow you
us.
up that Clover Valley. So, we have the monies to do the things we need to do.
We have a lot of things happening in Loomis right now.
Do tell, besides
so that
losing your
money-
eggplant.
Besides losing our emoji, yes, we have some really exciting things that are happening. We are really trying to take care of business. So that revenue, I think we're on track, give or take. We'll see how it goes, but about $800,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
But we only get 1% of our sales tax revenue. The rest of it, goes to the county.
Yeah.
So, which I think those all need to be
so-
renegotiated. I think we've been robbed for a really long time.
I think, you are the right person in that job to fight for your city and fight for your constituents.
Oh, well, thank you.
But
Do you know how I got here? Would you like to tell everybody how I got in this seat? Whose fault it is?
so, fault is a big word.
No,
But it
this
is
was-
interesting is because every time I go to a Potter game, it reminds me of the first time we really met.
Yes. Yeah.
And the first time I went, hey, by the way, where do you live?
You did. If for anybody here that's watching this podcast may not know that my sister is Holly Andriotta. She is the current mayor for Lincoln and running for District 2 Board of Supervisors coming up. But we were at her campaign when she was running for a reelection for
Yes.
city council for Lincoln. And I think you thought I lived in Lincoln because of my relationship with my sister.
Sure.
Yeah, because I think you're like, oh, you don't live in Lincoln? And I was like, no, I live in
And then
Loomis.
you said Loomis, and I knew we needed, it was
Yeah.
like, we were at the witching hour.
Yes, we were.
Was,
It was late July.
yeah.
And I had to be qualified by August 12th.
Wow.
And the election was November
And you
5th.
hadn't even thought about it.
It was never on my
And now
radar.
look at you.
Yeah.
She's growing up so fast.
Yeah. You're a proud papa over here.
You've done so good. People, anyway, I'm not going to go too far. But so Loomis,
Yeah.
when you have done an amazing job, you have done
Thank you.
Loomis. I am so proud of Loomis and what you guys have done. You know what I'm really proud of is a High Hand Brewery. It is so stinking beautiful. Wow.
Yes. So let me really backtrack
Yeah,
on
go
Costco
back.
really fast. So that all was on the backs of our previous council.
Mm.
So I really, as much as I would love to take credit for that, it is this council had nothing to do with that. It was and our predecessors of Brian Baker
Oh, I
and
love Brian Baker.
Tim Ondurko and those
I don't know
gentlemen.
Tim, but I love
Yeah,
Brian.
no, they really, and I think Danny was part of that
Danny.
too. Danny Cartwright, he is my partner on that council. He's been a godsend.
He's amazing.
Yeah, my husband and I, we love Danny and
You
his
know
family.
how I knew Danny was the guy? This is a couple of years ago. He is mayor of Loomis. And you had in Loomis this group that was on school campuses, literally grooming children and doing God knows what. And quite often, school board and city council, the two shall never meet. They stay very clear. But Danny wrote a letter denouncing the actions, denouncing what's taking place on behalf of the city. And I went, who is this guy?
Yeah, Danny's a good dude. So here we are. We're gonna rip this scab off again. So always getting me in deep water, Mr. Oliver.
So
but
those are the best kind. Starts at our ankles and then goes towards shin.
So
Let's
yes,
go.
the reason that he did that was we were getting public outcry. There were emails that were coming in, and people don't know this part of it, but he actually had been asked by our at the time town manager Sean Rebay, and he said, you need to make some kind of a comment, because Danny was just going to let it go, because not that he did not want to take a stand, but like you said, it was outside of our purview.
Yep.
It was not something that we had control over. But when Danny said, okay, then as mayor, I will put out a statement.
But you had parents who were scared.
Yeah, they were upset.
They were outraged.
Yeah, they were.
That no one knew this was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in not just Loomis.
Well, you're talking about
on
public funded,
Yeah.
Taxpayer dollar schools. This is not
Yeah,
like
they
a
were on
private
like
thing.
12 schools. I mean, I don't know that it was 12, but it was like that all throughout Placer County. They were out in Granite Bay. They were out in Roseville, on all these campuses.
And their church was in Loomis. But I think that particular pastor has now gone on. He's left our area.
Oh, I didn't know what you meant. I was like,
no,
he's left
no,
us.
he didn't pass away.
No,
No,
okay. He's not here anymore.
No, I don't know where he left, but he did go somewhere else. And so, so really, we are the new leadership of the church that he was out of. They want to get back to what their true mission is, and I think that they want to just minister to the town, of their congregants.
Sure.
And so, so we're just trying to move on from that, but
And
still
don't worry,
protect
I'll
our
just
children.
be here to remind you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is something that happened, like what we
Yeah.
talked about, our history, right? We can't get away from the history. And
But Danny,
yeah, he is a strong,
I mean, he took
strong
it was
leader.
not- he could have said, "Hey, we don't like this,"
Yeah.
or "Hey, we're going to let them look into it."
Yeah.
I mean, he went bold.
Yeah, he did. And I have a lot of respect for Danny. He's one
And
of
I
my
feel
best
like that's your
friends.
city council right now. Like you guys
Yeah.
you go bold.
Most of us, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
We're-
we try really hard. Yes.
So tell me, what are big things then coming up?
Well, I will tell you the biggest thing that, a couple of big turn of events. So we just purchased the property directly next door to Town Hall because we are expanding. We did an org assessment and we identified, there's many additions that we need to make, but within
Because your
this
town
next
hall
year,
is probably the smallest town hall I've ever been to.
very small. And
Like
we run a
12 of
very
us.
small staff. We have a
Yeah.
very small staff. But as our town, the needs of our town grows, and the state of California, they don't give us a pass because we're a smaller jurisdiction, and so they still expect us to operate at a
Roseville
level.
level.
Yeah, at a very professional level. And so for the staff that we've had, they've done an amazing job trying to juggle all the different hats that they do. But as a council and our town manager, he's incredible. Wes Heathcock has an incredible amount of knowledge in several different areas.
I've been really impressed.
Yeah,
with your
he's
town
incredible.
manager.
He's incredible. So we had an org assessment done, and we've identified at least 3 new positions that we want to bring on in the next year
Wow.
to add support to our current staff and to make some changes and some shifts. So we really needed the extra space because right now everybody's on top of each other. And so we're going to take this opportunity as we expand into, I think the new building is about 1,300
Okay.
additional square feet. So we'll be able to add some more offices and give people some space. And then, but in that expansion, we're also going to do some, modifications, and we're going to just kind of, beautify and, just make some really great.
Well, you guys are already very beautiful. I mean,
thank you.
downtown Loomis is so cute.
It is. And well, getting back to what you're talking about, High Hand. So
my gosh.
Scott Paris, he has done an incredible job. If anybody has they've never had the privilege, High Hand Cafe, they have an incredible brunch. His brewery, just the aesthetics of it all is
so
gorgeous.
Many questions. Is it gonna go? I went. I was floored. I am impressed.
Do you know who often frequents that place?
No, I don't.
Governor Newsom. Or
No,
Governor
he
Gavin
does
Newsom.
not.
Yes, he does.
He does not.
Yeah. Yes, he
He
does.
does. Okay. So can I ask you a question then? What happened to the space next to High Hand that they were going to do a brewery there?
Yes.
It's the big.
Have you been in Loomis lately? Because that is now, it used to be the WW molding property. And so this is what happened. So we had, originally we identified it as surplus land. We were going to sell it. But then after we had put it up for that, we quickly realized that the state of California law says if you do identify something as surplus land and you go to sell it, you have to first offer it to low-income housing or affordable housing, not low-income, but affordable housing. But it's right up against a railroad track, and it really is the last piece of property that would really be ideal for a commercial, right?
Yeah.
When we need the revenue. But
and I love it when city council members talk like that, because so often they lose sight of the fact that tax revenue is key to functionality in that city.
No, absolutely. And so we kept trying to figure out what we were going to do with it. It was taking a really long time. They had not secured funding or whatever it was that they were taking so long. And so when we got our new town manager, he said, well, you know what, there's no verbiage in this legislation that says that we can't take it back and say, you know what, we've decided it's not surplus and we do have a use for it. So what we did in the meantime, our end goal is to get a civic use grant from, SACOG or Caltrans. There's different things that we're working on. And we want to turn it into a civic use. But in the meantime, the low-hanging fruit was we had some incredible town volunteers. We had TB Molnar. He works for the school, or he contracts. I'm not exactly sure of what that relationship is, but I do know that he works with or for the Loomis Union School District. Al Fragioni, he is the facilities director for the Loomis Union School District. And then we had LIG Rentals, who they donated all the equipment. I mean, we just had some really incredible community partners that came together, and they saved the town a significant amount of money, like thousands and thousands of dollars. I think, don't quote me, I'm not 100%. I want to say like $65,000 worth of money. Yeah, a significant amount of money. But they graded it. And so now we've made it into a parking lot right now because, Loomis kind of struggles a little bit with parking when events happen and different things like that. So
when I want to go to that the fruit shed parade event.
Right. So, so we've done that. So that's, it's beautiful. Scott from High Hand, he did some modifications to it to make it look pretty,
I have not enjoyed that. So I will now go in there.
Check it out.
Now, can I give you a little bit of history?
Yes, please do.
You might not know that. Do you know where Red's Bistro is?
Yes.
It's right across from Loomis Basin Brewing.
And Taylor's.
That almost was a House of Oliver.
Really?
Yeah, when that was...
The Horseshoe Bar and Grill?
It was still Horseshoe Bar and Grill. Well, the defunct Horseshoe Bar and Grill.
Right.
We had walked the space and had looked and made an offer on the space at the same time that Russ did from Red's Bistro. And it was like, hey, who's going to? But Russ is a much better. He's just the master of the crafting, of the amount of work that was going to be needed on that space. So they went Russ instead of House of Oliver. It came down to the two of us, and we lost out on that, which is also interesting because the Horseshoe Bar and Grill was also owned by the same guy who did Bierman's in Lincoln.
Oh,
What are the
which
odds
is
of
the
that?
one that
Which
you
is
took-
we ended up going out
Yeah.
to Bierman's
That's
before
interesting.
we're not
Yeah.
there anymore.
Well, Red's Bistro, like the House of Oliver, is a wonderful place.
Lovely.
So definitely
Great team.
come and spend your money in Loomis for sure. And then getting back to the question that you're asking, so the other major project that we're in the middle of that is actually near and dear to my heart, it's my pet project, is the Horseshoe Bar Road and 80 interchange going eastbound. I don't know if you've ever been on 80 going, towards Auburn through Loomis, but different parts of the day, it will get backed up all the way to like the Walmart on-ramp, right? And so it's a safety issue, and we've identified
Isn't that where you guys are putting the Costco gas station?
we are not. We are not fortunate enough to have that revenue, sir. You just keep pouring. You got any more salt? Got any lemon to pour in that one?
So you're, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yes. Yeah. So we have put in a grant request from Kevin Kiley's office. And so obviously that has to go through Congress and be approved by the
So it's
Appropriations
not like a
Committee.
Caltrans thing or
Well,
something?
so we are getting hopefully getting money from Caltrans. I had met with at the time he was the head of Caltrans for this area. His name was Sutha, and he did identify it also as
Okay.
that. And so he had said that they would earmark 1.25 million. So we're in the process. It's a real.
And how many millions is that going to take?
Oh, it'll be several million. But we have from multiple different funding sources. So we're
that
gonna
will
make
be
it happen.
great to get that done.
Yes.
Huge,
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
How did Del Oro do this year when it came to girls softball? Didn't that just finish?
I don't know about the girls softball. I will tell you that I know that their powder puff, the girls football team has been stellar the last
Yeah.
few years. Pardon me, I don't know about the softball. I know their tennis team, they're doing great. They actually really need some help on their tennis court. So that's another thing that hopefully the council will be able to help
Out a little bit.
Yeah, help out a little bit.
You know
That's
what?
something
You know what
great on.
else I love about Loomis? Gosh, can I
Loomis
just
is
brag?
wonderful. Yes, please brag
You're
about Loomis.
Ace Hardware. Can
Greg,
we just tell you, I've never
yes.
gotten so excited about an Ace Hardware in my life.
Greg Brenning is another incredible
Wow.
stakeholder in Loomis. So that was the other name that popped in my head when you were talking about High Hand, was the innovation that some of our stakeholders have. I will say the four that I mean the restaurants are amazing. Like we talked about Red's, Russ Townsend, he's incredible. I don't want to discount any of the other businesses,
all
but
great.
they're all fantastic. But I will
You
say,
got a pizza place. You even
that
got a cigar
Pizzioli,
shop
yeah,
right there.
yeah.
The cigar shop,
But
is that
Greg
Perfecto?
Greg Brenning, he owns three. He owns Ace Hardware, Ace Backyard, and Ace Paint. And so he has 3 brick and mortars right there
Wow.
on the corner of Walnut and Taylor Road. And but also the amount that he gives back
Huge.
to our town and different functions and different things. He and Scott, they really do. But LBB and then Nate from the Gander, they also have their own breweries. So we
Yeah.
have 3 microbreweries, 3 different incredible. And then there's going to be a lot of live music and things that are happening in
Well, there
Loomis
already
this
so much
summer.
is, but I'm just that Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
When I think of quality and I think of community and
Mhm.
I think of people coming together and helping, you just drive through and you
feel like
feel
Mayberry?
warm.
it feels like
just
Mayberry.
warm and
So-
cuddly in my heart.
Yeah, so the Ace Backyard used to be the pharmacy.
Oh, that's right.
It used to be the Loomis Pharmacy. And so when we moved to Loomis in 2004.
Now where do you get your drugs? On the corner?
At
By the
Rayleigh's. I go to
eggplant?
Rayleigh's. Yeah.
You go by-
I go to Rayleigh's.
Rayleigh's.
But that used to be the pharmacy. And so when we first moved to Loomis and we first drove through there for the very first time to see, this property that we were all going to move to, it was a pharmacy. And Mayberry was literally what went through my head. But in honor of the history and the tradition of the pharmacy, because it used to have like an ice cream and a little soda
He
fountain, or
still
whatever.
does.
He opened it back up. He refurbished it, and it looks incredible.
Yes.
So they have like a little ice cream counter, and then they
Wow.
have some information about the history of it. And so I'm telling you, come and check out.
Okay, but
our
let me ask you,
town.
this is
Walk
going to
our
be the
downtown.
deciding. This is the make it or break it, because I might just hate Loomis forever if this is not the way it is. When I go and get my ice cream,
I'd say, don't ask me what flavors they have because I can't
does
tell you all
he
this.
scoop or does he use the round chunker thing that they used to do at Thrifties that you could stack them
Oh,
perfectly?
I
Because
don't
if
know.
if he's not using the chunker thing, I don't know if I could eat their ice cream. This is very important. It changes the flavor.
The chunkier, you
Yeah, you
like the
need-
chunker, yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
Thrifties.
The
Do
Thrifties
you know
thing.
my dad? A million years ago, we lost my daddy in 2018, but my dad, he used to be a manager at Thrifties way back in I think in the 70s or whatever. Yeah, on one of his part-time gigs while he was building his business. But I can't think of Thrifties without thinking about my dad.
Oh, well, I love that. I love it. And that's what family's about. So let me ask you this. Loomis is amazing. I think you guys
Yeah.
are doing great. I'm
Thank
proud of
you.
you guys. But unfortunately, all good things come to an end. And you have a reelection that's coming up. Are
Yeah.
we running?
I believe so. As like I said, I'm a person of faith, so I'm still waiting, making sure that God is okay with that. I think that He put me there for a purpose, and
I think so.
there's been a few issues that had come up that I really believe that the still resolve that God equipped me with helped me get through those
I would
different
agree.
things. But yeah, I would really like to see the Horseshoe Bar Road and 80 interchange project come to fruition. I want to be there when we break ground. I want to be there when we do the ribbon cutting. So, Lord willing, yes, I will do one more because we have term limits. We can only do 2,
Oh, wow.
and then we have to take I think
Couple year
8 year,
break.
yeah, whatever, and then come back. Yeah.
And do you have an opponent?
Well, we will see. So when it's time for my election, there will be 3 seats that will be available. It will be
Okay.
myself, it'll be Stephanie Youngblood, and it will be the current mayor, David Ring. So the 3 of us will be up for election at the same time, and then we'll see who runs against us. So we'll see.
And do you know if David? I don't know David. Is he running again?
I would assume when he got elected in 2022.
Yep.
I was like, I'm like, what year are we in?
How old
Yeah.
are we?
Yeah, when we all got elected, that was his 3rd time running,
Oh, wow.
and that was the first time that he'd been elected. So I would assume that he would run again.
Wait, you're
but I
saying
don't know.
people can run 3 times and then win? And then I heard that I had
Like,
been
Lord,
told
here
that
we
there were some other people running and that Stephanie wasn't, but Stephanie's confirmed to me that she is running.
Okay.
So, and then I know that there are some names floating out there. So I'm going to probably be bringing some people in here. They might be friend or foe.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens.
So I love this. Hey, this is part of the podcast where we do a little thing I call "Where in the World is Kevin Kiley?" That was my exciting music. Where in the world is Kevin Kiley? I don't know if you know it, but we've lost him.
No.
Yeah, he's gone. I was at the Galleria Mall, and there was a couple of people out there, a small handful of people with signs that said, "Where is Kevin Kiley?" And I asked them, "What happened? We lost Kevin." And evidently he's gone.
Well, Congress has been in session, and he's been in D.C. fighting for us, doing his job, what we're paying for him to do.
Wait, we're not paying him to hang out with us at the Galleria Mall?
No, we are.
With this
He's
cool
fighting
group of
for
people?
us. He's in the swamp. He's fighting for us in the swamp right now. So, we are grateful for the good work that Kevin Kiley is doing in D.C., trying to bring accountability to our leadership here in California.
Okay, but let's ask the question. Okay, all joking aside, maybe not all of it aside, but a lot of these people are wanting to meet him. They want to yell. They just want a right to yell. And Charlie Kirk, one of the things I like about Charlie Kirk is Charlie Kirk will go and set up his table and he will talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of look at Kevin and he's kind of smart like Charlie Kirk is. And he could, wait, don't you think these people deserve just a little bit of FaceTime with Kevin? Like, shouldn't he do a town hall or do something to give them that FaceTime?
So he has done town halls. He's
The
done
digital town hall.
Yes,
Like
he's
they
done
want
a
to look him in the
whatever.
white of his eyes.
Correct. And but I will say, to be honest with you, right now, him being in DC makes that a little bit challenging, but that is his job. But when he is not in session, I have found him to be pretty accessible. He shows up at things.
Oh, he is. In fact, I was looking. He on June 1st, he was the speaker at the California Lawyer for the Arts and Event Center in Sacramento. So we know where he is.
Yeah. So no, he
Found
comes. Yeah. This is not Where's Waldo. Like, he's very trackable. You know what I mean? You could turn on, any kind of CNN or whatever. Like, he's trackable. But no, I think that we're very fortunate to have such the assemblyman, Joe Patterson and having Kevin
Joe
Kiley.
is great.
Yeah, they are
Joe's
very
great.
accessible and they are
Do you know
very
that
personable.
Joe is in a constant war with his HOA. Constant war. him and his HOA.
I love Joe and his wife Colleen. They are some of my favorite leaders. They crack me up.
And he goes public with it.
Yeah.
He's in a war with his HOA about, they want him to move his basketball hoop. And he's got these little kids. And he just posted it on Twitter.
You know what I love about Joe is that they are real people.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'm just a dad with this controlled chaos when you're trying to raise kids at all those different ages.
It's crazy.
My husband and I, we have a blended family. We have 6 kids. We have 8 grandkids. At any given time, there will be a child screaming in my house, because my grandkids are over or whatever. And so I relate to that, right? I think most America, they relate to that kind of controlled chaos. And I just love it that he's so transparent about, hey, I'm a regular guy.
He is.
I love that. I love that about Joe.
He's showing up to events.
Great.
He's just got his kids. Hey, did you hear something? I'm going to be a grandparent.
You know what? I did see that.
Isn't that crazy?
Congratulations.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you,
so
it is
pumped.
the best. It is the best. It is the best.
All right. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We've talked about, did you also hear this? Kevin Kiley has an opponent?
Is it the Jessica?
No.
Oh, who is it now?
No. Heidi Hall.
Oh, yes, I did.
Not our Heidi
Yes,
Hall.
I did.
It's
I heard that,
It's an
yes.
imposter Heidi
It's an
Hall.
imposter Heidi Hall.
She is I guess she's not even from our area, and she's impostering
Yeah.
and trying to take him on, trying to name claim. Name claim? Can I make that?
Yeah.
That sounds like an awesome. Okay. Okay, let me ask you one of the last things I want to do. I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but your sister is the mayor of Lincoln, and I've kind of called her the badass mayor of Lincoln.
She really is. That was just popping in my head, but I didn't want to say.
She
really is. She's awesome.
You know what she does is she stands up and fights for the people, fights for the people, whether it's popular or unpopular, whether it's going to get her elected or not elected. She does what's right because it's right. I love it.
Yes.
And so something she fought for that was a wrong that she's trying to set right is where the Gathering Inn had, under the dark of night, they had acquired this building right next to schools and parks where they were going to do this. It's debated what they were going to do, but something for the homeless community. And now the question is not, should we take care of our homeless community? We know that's a yes. It's all about communication, conversation, and what the right decision
and the location.
is. Location. But in this, and we've all been friends, we've all been tight, but Shanti Landon, a board of supervisor, she had, I guess, been in some sort of conversations with the gathering place and knew that this was happening and didn't communicate with the city. And now she's like, she got caught. She got caught with her hand in the cookie jar, kind of. That's probably a bad analogy. And now she is trying to go, no, it wasn't me. And so your sister, Holly, is decided, you know what? This is one thing too many. I feel like I need to run and represent the people. So she's running against Shanti Landon.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I am her biggest fan. We will be running simultaneous campaigns, right? But I'm doing everything that I can to help her right now. I believe in my sister. I believe in the cause, right? And I've heard and I've seen, I've read the comments on social media. I have talked to the people.
We can talk about that. Let me read you this comment. What's interesting is I invited both your sister and Shanti on to talk about, talk. You know what it is? Answer questions. I think, there have been statements made about Holly, even though, the majority I read is how, people are pumped that she's representing them. But there's some questions. I want to ask her the tough questions. And then I want to ask Shanti the tough questions. And Shanti's like, whoa, you guys are just misunderstanding. So I asked them both to come on. Your sister Holly's agreed. She's going to be on the podcast. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Shanti has decided she will not come on the podcast. She does not. She told me, she said, I did a video. And a video where people don't get to ask you questions. You get to determine the narrative. But somebody posted this on her video. They said, you continued to gaslight the public. You portray yourself as a victim. Oh, you minimize your responsibility for the damage that has been done. This is not leadership. It's manipulation. Those are severe accusations against Shanti.
And that has been the sentiment in a nutshell over and over again. And so my sister never would have ran. We were all friends. Shanti, and we still consider, we like Shanti. It's not personal, but there has to be leadership and there has to be somebody that's going to fight for their constituency. And it is, I can't speak to everything because, they are in litigation and the different things, but I'll tell you what I have, on social media, like you said, it has been, there is enough speculation, there's enough smoke, right, to assume that there's fire. And so there's been enough speculation that she had foreknowledge. And for whatever reason, she chose to not communicate that, whether she felt like she was deceived or whatever. But you get paid a lot of taxpayer dollars to not be deceived.
Yeah.
And it is your job to protect and communicate with the people who elected you. And if you're not going to do that, well, then you need to move out of the way and let somebody in who's going to fight.
Okay, let me ask you the tough question.
The people called for my sister.
They
They
did.
called for her. That's why she stepped up.
And she answered. She's like,
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
The Batman badass mayor of Lincoln.
Yes. She's
One of the
gonna love
questions
that.
I'm going to ask her, and it's a tough question. I'm not excited to ask her this, but I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
And so this will preempt. But I'd ask Shanti this question as well if she would dare let somebody ask her a question. It's now I'm going to be playing Where in the World is Shanti because that's the new game. But there's two Republicans. They've both been endorsed by the Central Committee in the past. They're both running. A Democrat's going to enter the race. They could potentially split the vote and the Democrat could win the primary. If your sister does not, were she to not get the Republican Central Committee endorsement, do you think she'd step down to not risk splitting the vote?
She will have to answer that question. But if I had to guess, I would say no, because here's the thing. The bigger constituency of District 2 is Lincoln. Okay. And she has ties to West Roseville. She taught at Cooley for many years. She graduated from Oakmont before there was a West Roseville.
Wow.
We have ties to Roseville. And so we love Roseville. We will work to earn the vote. We'll knock doors and we will campaign.
Well, Shanti didn't have that vote either.
Right. So, but this is what I'm trying to say. So it's not that we don't care about West Roseville, because we do. We care about West Roseville. We care about their needs and even what the county's, trying to do as far as building on their borders and different things. But the largest constituency is Lincoln.
Wow.
And Lincoln is calling for my sister. They want real leadership.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So, she didn't do it by herself, but when my sister was elected the first time on the Lincoln City Council, she was really a driving force to bring integrity and to bring transparency.
Yep.
They had a lot of different issues happening. And
Lincoln
was instrumental.
wasn't a mess. Let's
she was
be honest.
instrumental. And that is where you guys have dubbed her the badass mayor, right?
Yep,
Because
she's done what's needed to be done.
We were raised, by people who were raised by Depression era, parents.
Yeah.
And so we have a strong resolve. And I think that I think the biggest thing that's lacking in politics, and my sister and I, we don't want to be coined politicians, right? We are servant leaders. We want to be known as people who serve our communities. But the biggest thing that we see lacking is courage. People do not have courage. They don't want to support people if you're not the incumbent. They want to ask, well, how much money have you raised before they put their name? But for us, it's like, okay, we have to vote our our conscience. We have to vote what we believe that the Lord has called us to do. And so really that is the bottom line. My sister, God has sent more than one person and like several people to confirm the call for her to move forward. And whether, I mean, only God knows the outcome, right? But whatever the outcome is, we know that whatever we do, her for this race, me for, my race or other things that go on, as long as we feel like we are being obedient to the call of Christ, the result is up to him. And that's really
and hard work and putting the
we
blood,
have to do the
sweat,
work.
and tears.
Yes, 100%.
But well, I think it's for me. I have supported Shanti and I have supported your sister, and I am definitely stepping back. Obviously, I'm looking forward to talking to your sister and asking her tough questions. I'm looking and hopeful that Shanti will let us ask her those tough questions, and maybe she will. I think people need to own it, not hide it and run away from it. And then let's move forward. And then maybe talk about other things that are going on. But it's going to be a wild ride.
It will be. But you know what the funny thing is about time? Because we have a little bit of time between now and then.
Yeah.
The funny thing about time is that, the truth will come out.
Yeah.
And I think that's, if nothing else, the last 4 years of the previous administration, time was a benefit to President Trump, right? And so there's sometimes you can't convince somebody of something. They have to experience it. They have to see it. They have to. And so, it's a long time between now and the elections.
It is.
So, everybody buckle up. This is going to be a good one.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for coming and joining. Thank you
me.
guys for sticking around for the ride today. Don't forget to have liked, followed, shared, tag a friend, tag a neighbor. Send it to an enemy. You know that they want me in their inbox. That would be great.
I can think of a few that want you in their inbox.
Thank you guys so much. And you know how it goes. Let's continue to make Placer County awesome.